I'm not an academic. I don't do research on empowerment diversity, as you've heard. I'm a proud shoemaker. আমি একজন মুচি, আমরা জুতো বানাই, জুতো রপ্তানি করি, বিক্রি করি, আমরা অনেক কাজ করি। এবং সেখানে গত প্রায় 3 দশক ধরে we have had the opportunity to work in retail, manufacturing, service. কিছু কিছু জিনিস আমি একটু আপনাদের সাথে 15 মিনিট শেয়ার করতে চাচ্ছি। প্রথম হচ্ছে যে আমরা 2026 সালে বাংলাদেশ যে জায়গায় যাচ্ছে সেখানে গ্র্যাজুয়েশন LDC graduation today, tomorrow is going to happen. এবং সেখানে to be able to harness the power of our people, আমরা যেটা এপেক্সে বিশ্বাস করি যে 51% of your talent is sitting at home, you will have not enough talent. So it's a very simple business strategic decision. আপনারা এখানে empowerment করছেন না inclusion করছেন to tick the box or to please our foreign buyers. I think those days are over. It has been over for a long time. You do it for the right reasons, you do it because we need to be competitive and we need to have that talent in our place. এখন আমি সারা জীবন দেখেছি যে মহিলারা কাজ করেন. Maybe I'm a little bit blessed, but I've grown up seeing that my mother works, my wife works, my sister works, and inshallah my children, my 3 daughters will also work. তো সেটা যদি হয়ে থাকে তাহলে ওয়ার্কফোর্সের পার্টিসিপেশন স্পেশালি ইন পজিশনস অফ ম্যানেজমেন্ট লিডারশিপ এত পোর কেন? আমি একটু 3টা উদাহরণ খুব তাড়াতাড়ি দিতে চাই। 90 সালে যখন আমি শফিপুরে একটা জুতার কারখানা জয়েন করি অ্যাজ আ প্রোডাকশন ট্রেনি, ম্যানেজমেন্ট ট্রেনি, তখন আমেনা বেগম নামে একজনকে আমরা ইন্টারভিউ করেছিলাম। আমেনা বেগম হ্যাড আ মাস্টার্স ইন ইসলামিক হিস্ট্রি, but because she wasn't politically connected enough or didn't have the right connections, she couldn't get a government job, she couldn't get an MNC job, so she came and worked in a shoe factory on the floor. So when we asked her, why are you taking this job, she said, I have no other option. Amina Begum ultimately became head of training and L&D, Apexe, and ILO actually sponsored her to send her to Australia to teach people how to train to do TOTs. So ওই অপরচুনিটি যদি সেইখানে সব ফ্লোরে না নিতেন আমেনা বেগম, who by the way is more qualified than I am, because she has a master's and I only have a bachelor's degree. So you have to give people that opportunity. পরবর্তীতে Amina Begum's parents came to us and said that Amina is not listening to us, আমার কথা শোনে না, সে তো বিয়ে করছে না। Amina then decided when she got married, she decided who she married, she decided when her family started. So a transformation, Bangladesher garments factory te Mustafiz Bhai, Sadafra, you have done millions of times. I think it take appreciation hawa darkar. Second example, 1999, we are participating, partnering with an Italian company. They are teaching us how to hand stitch moccasins, which is a kind of shoe. So sheta amra ghore niye je kortam. Homework was then allowed. So আমরা এরকম সেন্টার তৈরি করতাম and young women would set themselves into, they call themselves centers to do this work and they would bring the work back to us. তো আমরা আমাদের ইটালিয়ান পার্টনারকে এরকম একটা সেন্টার দেখতে গেলাম, একজন ভদ্র মহিলা, she was used to work in an NGO, she quit, she started 5 জন 10 জন 20 জন, she had 62 women working in a very small shed in Gazipur, Kaliakore, making hand stitch moccasin, giving it back to us. So আমাদের Italian partner got very carried away and said, oh, this is very nice, very good quality. Please tell her, I want to give her a present. Key, can I give her a fridge, an AC? She said, no, I don't need a fridge, I don't need an AC. Please tell him to give you more orders and tell Apex to give all the orders to me. So entrepreneurship kintu ebhabe tori hoy, right? So if you empower people, there are a lot of strategic and important business reasons why we can do this. Now, let's fast forward to 2024. 2024 goto bochore, we had the honor and the privilege of promoting a young lady to head of production in one of our units. She has 2 disadvantages. Ekta hocche she is a woman, আর দুই হচ্ছে she is young. আমাদের এখানে ageism is also a thing, right? So উনি মাত্র 34 বছর বয়স এবং মহিলা, how can she run production? How can, women এখানে কি কাজ করবেন? HR এ কাজ করবেন, finance এ কাজ করবেন, NGO তে কাজ করবেন. Why should they work in production? This young lady is the best production manager we have in the group. So উনি যখন জয়েন করলেন and then last year she was expecting a child. So typically ki hoto, she would have exited the workforce and then we would worry, and she was so stressed je ferot ashbe kina, she made her husband move into the factory, into our guest house with her. So I think ei jinish gulo change hocche, but we are not scaling. Ekta duta chatta example. So shekhane I am proud that as an organization we were able to support her, but again women in important positions jeta bolchilam, in non-traditional roles, sales, in operations, in production, in manufacturing, এই জায়গায় আমাদের মহিলাদের আরো অনেক বেশি দরকার. She now runs, by the best factory in our unit. She has the highest productivity and the highest quality in our unit. এখন Women's Day তে আমরা অনেক অনুষ্ঠান করি, other than wearing pink, which I think is a little bit silly. I think we really need to move beyond this. let's stop this pink, please. Allah Raste, let's stop this pink. We need to be a little bit more meaningful, impactful. So আমাদের যিনি group CFO, আমি ওনাকে দিলীপ দা বলি, he said, the reason that we need to have more women in the workforce is the best university in Dhaka is Dhaka University. আমরা যদি ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটি স্টুডেন্ট বডি দেখি, more than 50% are actually women. So আমরা যদি best talent বাংলাদেশে চাই, we should be hiring more women. So you're not doing yourself a favor. You're not doing them a favor, you're doing yourself a favor by hiring the most women in the room. So এটা হচ্ছে একদিক থেকে the perspective. আরেক দিক থেকে, when I was responsible for a very large trade body in Bangladesh, very prestigious, beautiful, অনেক কাজ করি আমরা, and I looked at the whole management and there was not a single woman, and this is an organization that goes back for many decades. And I asked why when I was given and I was told যে আমাদের bathroom নেই. We have 22 bathrooms in that building. Bathroom is not the answer. Bathroom is, the attitude is the problem, right? So আমরা যখন force করলাম যে না, let's just turn 4 of these bathrooms into women's bathrooms. How hard is this? তখন কিন্তু change টা. So at some point you have to force. Now, why do you do this? The data is actually quite clear. আমরা যদি দেখি that companies যেখানে the executive teams are gender diverse, মহিলা পুরুষ আছে, সেখানে কিন্তু আমাদের profitability is usually 25% higher. So you can actually make more money by being more diverse. Second, যখন you have inclusive cultures where you have people with disability, people from different genders, you actually are twice as likely to meet or exceed your targets. So we can look at the research and the data and you can find reasons why this is being done. So at Apex, where I work proudly from our founder, আমাদের একটা culture or একটা value that we got was empowerment. And when you empower people to take those decisions, like we said, you decide to work on the shop floor, but you decide, okay, I'm going to have a child, but instead of me leaving the workforce, I'm going to make my husband leave his work and come and join me and make sure that I can continue. So what are the specific steps? I mean, we don't do research, we work on factory floors. Number one, intentional recruitment and advancement. What we have said in Apex, একটু আগে শুনছিলাম যে আগে আমরা দেখতাম, you have to be a young graduate but have 1 year of experience. এটা কিন্তু contradictory. বা ইংলিশ বলতে হবে, ইংলিশ শেখানো যায়, বাংলা শেখানো যায়, এগুলো না বলে, when we say that 50% of the interview pool must be women. And we did this for 2 reasons. একটা হচ্ছে যে ওই ইন্টারভিউ ফেজেই বাদ হয়ে যায়. We see that the entire interview panel is all male. So if you give women the chance to interview, they learn how to interview and then they have a higher chance of actually getting a job. So set targets. We have a target that so many percentage of our store managers need to be women, and I'm very proud that we've now achieved. Very small, it's less than 1%, but still a start. Second, establish women-led forums. আমাদের একটা ইনিশিয়েটিভ আছে called কণ্ঠ, সেখানে আমাদের একজন ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট ডিরেক্টর সেটাকে হেড করেন. Women in the company can come and talk about that, and it meets on a monthly basis. It reports to a board level. It does not report to the CEO. Supportive infrastructure. আমরা শুনেছি গার্মেন্ট ফ্যাক্টরিতে চাইল্ড কেয়ারের কথা. What about non-garment factory? So একটা উদ্যোগ যেটা আমরা নিয়েছি, and we partnered with a development partner for this, যে ঢাকা শহরে অনেক ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল থার্ড পার্টি চাইল্ড কেয়ার সেন্টার্স আছে. সো যেখানে আমাদের দোকান আছে, ক্যান উই দেন অফার দ্য চাইল্ড কেয়ার সেন্টার সার্ভিস ফ্রম দ্য কোম্পানি টু আওয়ার কলিগস? আর নাহলে মহিলারা রিটেলে কাজ করতে পারছেন না. সো চাইল্ড কেয়ার হ্যাজ টু এক্সটেন্ড বিয়ন্ড RMG. ইট হ্যাজ টু গো ইন টু দ্য ওয়ার্কফোর্স. 4 নম্বর, you invest in DEI awareness. DEI makes a lot of sense, এবং DEI can actually drive profitability. So আমাদের কোম্পানিগুলোতে we have actually a 3-hour DEI training, which every single person has to go through, renewable every year. Because the problem starts with the men. আমরা পুরুষরা হচ্ছে সমস্যা. এটা যদি আমরা না মানি তাহলে এটা ঠিক হবে না. We have to step up. You have to be a champion. You have to say, আমি এটা করব. We need to see so many women in our Mancom. We need to see so many women heading our stores. We need to see so many women working on shop floors. এটা যদি আমরা পজিটিভ অ্যাফার্মেশন না করি, it does not work. So very quickly, আমি বলবো যে the call to action is what? শব্দটা we heard in the morning panel, accountability. If you are going to set targets, I know an MNC head, উনি বাংলাদেশে যখন এসেছিলেন, he had no women who were district sales managers. He said, by the time I leave, I want 50% to be women. He achieved his target. So I think when you set targets, quantifiable targets, এত percent, ছোটই হোক, 2%, 5%, if you're not measuring change, that change is not going to happen. So আমরা এক্সট্রাটা কি করছি? এক্সট্রাটা হচ্ছে যে you have to walk the talk. এখানে আমি, I will say to my women colleagues and the women in the room, I also see a problem here, if I may say, with role models and positive empowerment. আমি একটা example জানি, in one of our factories where we promoted a young lady, from the shop floor to supervisor, and the women in the line did not want to accept her, they would accept a male supervisor. It's into cultural conditioning. So women don't like to see sometimes women in positions of power over them. They're accepting a male boss, but they're having a trouble with a female boss. So a change in mindset, I would say 70-80% with the male level, but we also need to work with the women on this. So I'll leave you with this thought that I think amader jonno this change is not going to be easy, but for those of us who will change reluctantly, we will probably lose. So the sooner that we embrace এই চেঞ্জটা আমাদের করা দরকার, which reminds me of one of my favorite sayings from Melinda Gates. And she said that when women and men are equal, everyone is greater. Thank you so much for this opportunity.